What's up, Laker supporters? It's episode 10 of Laker Chisme. I'm your host, Jacob, and this was an exciting weekend starting on Friday against the Bucks. Lakers won by 10 points, and that included the Bucks having Giannis on the court. I think it was Brooke Lopez or Robin Lopez fouled out, and the Lakers actually at the end of the game they clinched their first playoff berth since 2013. So it's been a long drought these last 7 years. So I'm happy. I'm sure other people are happy that we're finally back in the playoffs. We're back in the run. And if you've been watching their games lately, they've been playing championship basketball. They're not playing playoff basketball. They've surpassed that. They've made their point, their statement. They're in. Now they just gotta continue on what they've built these past few years, and especially this season, in the off season, the camaraderie that they built during the summer, with the addition of everyone who came who wasn't here last year. Also, building upon the cohesion that they've established more recently with maybe Markieff Morris or anyone, maybe even Dion Waiters, who recently got signed. So just keeping that intact, making sure that grows and flourishes so that holds them together throughout the playoffs. It's not just about scoring points and defense and offense. It's about really having each other's back during the season. And then, of course, when it counts the most, when it's crunch time, when it's game 5, 6, 7, or you're facing elimination, or you got to lock down one more game before you get to the next series. This is what it's gonna do, a month from now in April when the playoffs start. So I'm looking forward to the season, the remainder of the season, and then of course the postseason. And I like what the coaching staff has done with the Lakers. All the tweaks and adjustments they've made throughout the season. Just kind of having people on two-way contracts, for example, like Kostas and Kakak, who are still on the South Bay Lakers. Just bringing in additional reinforcements that the Lakers really need. Even though I like Troy Daniels, seeing him depart, maybe he wasn't the best fit. Not arguing his skill set, just as a business, the Lakers still have to make moves and do whatever's in the best interest of the team and to get them a long run through the playoffs to get them to the finals. So what we saw this weekend, aside from Giannis and the Bucks being in LA, it's a little different than December being on a 5-game road trip and then your 5th game being in Milwaukee after you just lost to Indiana a night ago or a few nights ago. It's tough. The East is tough, especially on the road. But they're not, and it's no disrespect, they're not as difficult when they're in LA because it's a different type of basketball. The energy's different. Case in point being 2 days ago against the Clippers, quote unquote, Battle of LA. I'm not sure who came up with that marketing gimmick, but it's interesting. Everyone knows there's only one team in LA. The Clippers, aside from Kawhi Leonard, they're just not the same caliber team. Only one of them has titles to back up anything. And of course, he's the one from Moreno Valley, from LA. He has roots in Compton. So, I mean, to be honest, Paul George has his gold medal. He's never had the finals. He hasn't won 2 finals like someone like Danny Green, or 3 finals like LeBron. So the Clippers are a little bit hard to take seriously as far as their franchise goes. Not their players, but the marketing direction, the PR campaigns. It's just kind of weird. And if anyone watches post game, you see Big Game James Worthy talk about it, that it's gimmicky, it's just weird, it's odd. So it's a different way of doing stuff. But I guess that comes from their owner or their governor, Steve Ballmer, He has a tech background, probably comes from the VC crowd, so it's a different way to do things. Whereas you see Genie and Rob Pelinka, they're just about making moves and letting not only Staples but also letting the league know what's going on. So I'm very thankful for the leadership on the team, whether it's in the office, on the bench, in the locker room, or on the court. Lakers have a lot of veterans, and you can see a sharp contrast from last season until this season because they have a lot more experience on the floor. Not as many mistakes now. It seems like they're making a lot more adjustments earlier in the games. So the mistakes they're making in the first or second quarters are not carrying over to the third and fourth quarters. So that's allowing them to be up in the third quarter and go 42-0 in the fourth. So if they have the lead 42 games, they've been able to close them out in the fourth and haven't lost one. If you look at their overtime record, it's 2-0. It's against Dallas earlier in the year, and then might have been Boston or another team that they went to another overtime match. So the Lakers aren't needing 5 or 6 quarters to close out teams. And I hope that's kind of foreshadowing for the playoffs, where it's not going to take them 5 or 6 games to close out teams. I'm hoping this is the season, especially having this feeling. I haven't had this feeling since the early 2000s when they went on their first run, at least when I was capable of understanding of what the Lakers were about. I haven't felt this since then. So I know then that first, or actually it might have been the second year, when they played Philly in the finals, they were 16-1. So this team, I'm not saying they're going 16-1. I'm saying they're very capable of closing out these teams early to get them into the finals. And we saw that Sunday, which I don't know how this works. Obviously, there's always bias, but I don't understand how the Clippers could be the favor to go to the NBA, or the second favorite to go to the NBA Finals, or at least the favorite out of the West, when their record is worse than the Lakers. And they haven't had their players, especially their superstars, there for multiple games this season. So obviously there's whoever's doing these stories or saying what the odds are in Vegas, there's obviously a different mentality or different lens that they're looking through, because it's not true. You got the Bucks with the best record in the NBA as of right now, but the Lakers are only a game or two in the loss column from the Bucks. So they could very well come out having the best record at the end of the season. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just a mild prediction that they're already there. They're not 10 games behind. They're not making these off-the-wall predictions like LeVar Ball saying the Pelicans are going to come out of nowhere, out of 10th place, not even in the playoffs, and they're going to beat the Lakers, the first seed. So this one's a little bit more grounded in reality, but I'm thrilled that they're doing this well. I'm thrilled that they beat the Clippers by 9. I'm glad the Clippers are leaving Staples. They shouldn't have been there in the first place. They should have stayed at the Pond, what's now the Honda Center. The Lakers should be the only NBA team in Staples, or NBA team. But I'm looking forward to the playoffs, which should start in about a month and a half in April, towards the end of April. But aside from that, I just want to say that LeBron achieved his 64th Player of the Week of his career. He's number 1 in that category. Number 2 is the late Kobe Bryant. And he's actually had 3 this season with the Lakers. So he's killing it out there, and he's rubbing off on his teammates. Avery Bradley scored 24 points on Sunday against Clippers. Clippers didn't have an answer for him. They didn't seem too interested in guarding him. So he just went off, and he didn't just go off on offense. He was very present on defense. The Lakers are showing what's needed to win these big games now. Now, earlier in the season, they were still trying to get their feet on the ground and get them rooted. But now they have more of an identity. The Lakers have gone on streaks this season. They've gone on, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 game win streaks. I can't say the same thing about the Clippers. But I do know the Lakers have been very successful this season. And as long as they keep their health and they keep their mentality intact through the rest of the season, they could very well end up in the finals, and we'll see what happens then. So thanks again for joining, and I hope to see you for episode 11. Thanks.